Saibong turned around, puzzled. Royal Palace of Isfahan. The Sultan sat on his throne while he was being greeted. A man sat near him, telling him that the tribe, the steel sand that had long threatened their lands, has left his village, and he went deep into the forest of the kingdom of Manjantano. The old man stroked his beard, saying that this was a victory for them, and then asked how the kingdom of Manjantano dealt with them. Bowing his head, the man replied that it was without any disagreement, and they simply crossed the borders calmly. The man replied that he would like to see the hated Manjantano drown in chaos. The Sultan, leaning on his arm, said that if this was all, then he was free. The warrior, looking at the floor in fear, muttered that this was all, but something else had happened. The old man cast an interested look at him. Imagining many monsters, he spoke of the monsters returning and attacking their borders. The Sultan frowned and asked again. The man, looking at the floor tensely, noted that they were doing everything in their power to stop the monsters. However, the monsters were rushing at great speed, frightened by the protagonist. The knight said that they seemed to be completely mad with fear of something, but they would not be broken so easily. The Sultan stood up and waved his hand, ordering them to gather forces and use their firepower to instill more fear into the monsters. The man accepted his order. The old man sank down on the pillows, thinking that the tactics of the monster wave had turned against them. He pursed his lips, with an angry face, wondering if this was part of Manjantano's plan. He thought that it was not so, because the waves of monsters were huge, and their return to them was impossible unless a real beast appeared in the west. The protagonist held out the papers with a smile, asking him to sign here. Opposite him on the sofa sat two men, asking what kind of paper was this. Lloyd replied that everything was written there. Smiling sweetly, he noted the full payment of the debt. Looking at the paper with the amount, he said that it was a check that he wrote out for them, taking into account the interest. The man immediately grabbed it, and the guy asked what they would say. Looking at them with a gloomy look, he told them to sign quickly and get out of here. Declaring in the office, Arcus crossed paths with the guests. He and his wife approached their son. Looking at him with puzzled